everyone. Okay, so this is like fifth time's the charm, but I'm gonna try. So this is gonna be my Cloak and Dagger Christmas readathon announcement. This readathon was created by the wonderful Kate Howe. I think she created it about 2 years ago now, and the whole point of this readathon is to read mysteries in the month of December. And I think 2 years ago when she started this, she did it by herself, but then last year and this year, she's asked the same group of ladies to co host with her, which is so nice. And they are, of course, well, obviously herself and then me, and then also Kate from the novel Nomad and Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures. I love these ladies and I love buddy reading, not buddy reading, co hosting with them. Um, Last year we had so many great Voxer conversations, and I think we all read some pretty amazing things, and it was so much fun, like seeing people's participation and seeing what others were reading and getting kind of new recommendations for ourselves, and then recommending our favorites to other people, getting new favorites. It was a blast, and we're already having such amazing conversations, and it's still a month before the marathon readathon even starts. So yeah. Anyway, so last year we had four prompts, I believe, and this year we kind of just, when we were all making suggestions, it kind of turned into about six prompts. So Kate Howe had the idea to do all of them, but also let people choose and maybe pick three, or you can do more if you want, but maybe pick three to do. And that way people had different choices to pick from, and also if you're the kind of person where you only read a couple books a month, you don't have to then um, kind of just do too many at once. I don't know why I was blanking there, sorry. Uh, anyway, so then Mel had the idea to do um, carol titles to correspond with the book prompts, and I thought that was so cool. So the first one is O Tannenbaum, and that is read a translated work, and this was Kate from the novel Nomad's idea. And then two was I Saw Three Ships, read a book set in a location you don't normally read about. This was my prompt, and they very kindly didn't mind us using this song because it's probably my second favorite carol. Either that or tied with God Rest You Merry Gentlemen for my favorite carol pretty much ever. For Christmas, I absolutely adore it. And fun fact, the Blackmore's Night version is my favorite. If anybody is interested, I highly recommend it. Next is Silent Night, read a book with an unknown adversary. This was one of Mel's prompts. And then four was In the Bleak Midwinter, which is read a book set in a cold climate or with a plot that makes your blood run cold. And this was another one of Mel's, and also In the Bleak Midwinter is probably my second or third favorite carol ever. So love them. I just love Christmas songs. And then five is I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, read a book set at Christmas. And this was one of Kate Howe's prompts. And then six was Come Thou Long Expected Jesus, read a mystery you've been meaning to get to for a while. And this was another one of Kate Howe's. And yeah, okay. So I'm sorry I've had to read off of these, so I've kind of been looking down the whole time. Okay, so anyway, my recommendation for the first one, O Tannenbaum, read a translated work, is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. This is the first book in the Millennium Trilogy, and I have to do a trigger warning for this. This has a pretty intense amount of sexual violence in it, but it's very intentional and purposeful in this book, as well as the other two books in the trilogy, because the catalyst, basically it comes with a message, and the catalyst for this whole series was Stieg Larsson wanting to raise awareness for the unprecedented amount of sexually violent crimes that occur in his home country, which I believe is Sweden. And sadly, after writing, after writing these first three, Stieg Larsson actually passed away. And I want to say the last two, um, I think these were all published in Sweden while he was still alive, but then um, when they were translated into English, I think he actually passed away before before the trilogy was completed as far as being translated goes. But anyway, so I had to talk about that. Trigger warning. But as I said, it's with a very specific message in mind. And honestly, this is one of the best mysteries that I've ever read. Yes, this sexual violence in this does make those parts very difficult to read, but the book overall is just, it's one of those books where I really couldn't put it down when I read it. I read this on two different plane journeys, and it was just wow. I didn't want to do anything else. The plot is amazing. The characters are amazing. I really like his writing. And at the time that I read this 10 years ago, it was one of the most unique mysteries I'd ever read. And I'm hoping that I feel the same way when I reread it, because, spoiler alert, this is actually going to be my TBR book for this prompt, because I haven't read it in 10 years and I really want to reread it before moving on to the other two books. So I'll read you guys the back of this. This says, The Industrialist. Heinrich Wanger, head of the dynastic Wanger Corporation, is tormented by the loss of a child decades earlier and convinced that a member of his family has committed murder. The Journalist. Michael Blomkvist delves deep into the Wanger's past to uncover the truth behind the unsolved mystery, but someone else wants the past to remain a secret and will go to any lengths to keep it that way. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Lisbeth Salander, the enigmatic delinquent and dangerous security specialist, assists in the investigation. A genius computer hacker, she tolerates no restrictions placed upon her by individuals, society, or the law. Yeah, I think that gives you a good idea, and it is amazing. Also, I apologize for my pronunciation of those names. I have no idea if I pronounced any of them correctly. But anyway, yes, very highly recommend this one. Next is mine, which is I Saw Three Ships, read a book set in a location you don't normally read about. I have kind of a quirky one for this one. My suggestion is The Air Affair by Jasper Fforde. This is the first in his Thursday Next series, and it is set in London, which you might think I read mysteries set in London and or England and or Britain all the time, but this is a very different London. And I think the best explanation is for me to read the back of this. So this says, Welcome to a surreal version of Great Britain, circa 1985, where time travel is routine, cloning is reality, dodos are the resurrected pet of choice. I would totally own a dodo. And literature is taken very, very seriously. England is a virtual police state where an aunt can get lost, literally, in a Wordsworth poem, militant Baconians heckle performances of Hamlet, and forging Byronic verse is a punishable offense. All this is business as usual for Thursday Next, renowned special operative in literary detection, until someone begins kidnapping characters from works of literature. When Jane Eyre is plucked from the pages of Bronte's novel, Thursday must track down the villain and enter the novel herself to avert a heinous act of literary homicide. And then the front blurb here says, Filled with clever wordplay, literary allusion, and biblio-wit, The Air Affair combines elements of Monty Python, Harry Potter, Stephen Hawking, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but its quirky charm is all its own, and that's from the Wall Street Journal. That is the best way that I can think to sum up this book. It is completely amazing. When I read this, I think my senior year of high school, which was like 12 years ago, and I was trying to do the math, and it was completely amazing, and I loved it just as much the second time I read it, which was about 2 years ago, I think. It's wonderful. If you love books, if you love bibliowit, if you love um, really punny names, then I really highly recommend this. Yeah, I think there's something in here for pretty much everyone, but especially if you love mysteries and just literary illusion in general. Next is read a book with an unknown adversary. This is the Silent Night one, and I'm so sorry for the planes. I very much apologize. But this one I can't actually show you because I don't have the physical copy with me. My friend Benjamin is borrowing my physical copy, and that is Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. And the reason why I think this is perfect for this prompt is because this book is about 10 strangers who are all summoned to a deserted island under mysterious circumstances, and they're all kind of summoned for different reasons. And then when they all get there, their hosts are not there. So it's just them. And they start getting bumped off one by one. And you literally are like, how can this be happening? Because it's just them. So who is killing these people? Sorry, that was a loud clap. And anyway, yeah, so it's amazing. And I so highly recommend. This is my favorite Agatha Christie book ever, which is something I did not think I would be saying when I was about 12 years old, because when I was 12, I read the first page and it scared me so bad that I just couldn't read it. But anyway, it is completely fantastic and I so highly recommend. Okay, next is in the Bleak Midwinter, read a book set in a cold climate or with a plot that makes your blood run cold. For this, I'm gonna talk about Mystery in. I was gonna say Mystery in Winter. Mystery in White by J. Jefferson Farjan. This was a book that I read for the first time last Cloak and Dagger Christmas, and this is about a bunch of people who are traveling on a train journey, and it is very snowy, and the snow turns into a blizzard. The train runs into a snowbank and gets stuck. So a few of the people on the train decide to travel to try to find better shelter than the train. They come across a giant house that is all done up like people are staying there. There's hot food on the table, there's fires in the fireplace, all the rooms are made up, but there's no one there. So they decide to take shelter. And then they find out that someone on the train has been murdered. And so they're all terrified that a killer is, walking around out amongst them. And so they kind of have to figure out who the killer is, just being kind of stuck in this house. And I really, really liked this. It's kind of like a cross between an Agatha Christie and Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I know it sounds kind of strange, but yeah, that's like the vibes that I got from this book. And I thought it was completely fantastic. If you like Agatha Christie, I would definitely try this. It's one of the British Library crime classics, so it was published sort of around the same time. I believe it was published, it may have even been published the same year as Mysterious Affair at Styles, but I think maybe it was like a year or two later. But anyway, very highly recommend this one. And then next is 5, I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. Read a book set at Christmas time. Now for another Agatha Christie. I'm recommending Hercule Poirot's Christmas, a holiday mystery. This is, of course, a Poirot that is set at Christmas. I think it's one of the only two. I think there's another Poirot that is a short story that's set at Christmas, but this is the only full-length novel set at Christmas. And I really love this one. I saw the TV adaptation several times before I actually read the book and really enjoyed it, and then also thoroughly enjoyed the book itself. And I will read you guys the summary for this one. This says, it's Christmas and Uh, well, okay, it says Simon Lee, but I'm pretty sure he's called Simeon. Yeah, so I'm gonna call him Simeon. It's Christmas, and Simeon Lee has demanded that his 4 sons and their wives return home for the holiday. But Lee, a wealthy and tyrannical patriarch, has anything but a heartwarming family gathering in mind. He bedevils each of his sons with barbed insults, lavishes attention on his attractive long lost granddaughter, and finally announces he is cutting off his son's allowances and changing his will. So when the old man is found lying in a pool of blood on Christmas Eve, there is no lack of suspects. Did Lee's taunts push one of the sons to a desperate act of murder? Or was the killer really after the fortune in uncut diamonds Lee kept locked away in his safe? And how did the murderer escape from the locked room where Lee was found dead? The intrepid Belgian detective Hercule Poirot is called in to investigate and quickly finds that nearly everyone present has a reason to kill the old man, or had a reason to kill the old man, excuse me. However, Poirot is determined to solve this chilling holiday crime before more blood is spilled. A classic Christie puzzle, Hercule Poirot's Christmas is the perfect escape from a frenzy of the holidays, or from the frenzy of the holidays. Yeah, I really, really love this. It's super cozy. It's fantastic if you're a Poirot fan. Um, I would say that it's a good one to try if you haven't read Agatha Christie before, but I I don't know. This feels very like I feel like the whole Poirot world is kind of so established in this that you sort of have to read. I feel like you at least have to read Mysterious Ferret Styles before you read this one. But anyway, I still very highly recommend. It is fantastic. And then last but not least is number 6, which is Come Thou Long Expected Jesus. Read a mystery you've been meaning to get to for a while. The one I'm going to talk about, I do have a physical copy of, but I couldn't actually get to it because it's kind of buried at the bottom of a stack of books in the back of the shelf that is double stacked. So that was going to take too much time to actually pull it out. But anyway, this is Nine Coaches Waiting by Mary Stewart. I've wanted to read this for quite a few years now. I bought it on the recommendation of 2 booktube friends, one being Kate Howe and the other being Jerome from Jerome Weiselberry. And just, yeah, this book just came so highly recommended that I was like, okay, I really need to read this. And then ever since I've owned it, Kate's been like, have you read it yet? Have you read it yet? And I'm like, no, I keep meaning to. And yeah, I've put this on my TBR for several different occasions, and I still haven't done it. And then it was even on my Cloak and Dagger Christmas TBR last year. So this year, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna make sure it happens. I'm really excited because this will be my first Mary Stewart. And I've heard if you like authors like Phyllis A. Whitney, who I really, really like, and who I'm also reading a book by, not necessarily in Cloak and Dagger Christmas, but in November. Yeah, I've heard that if you like her, then you will like Mary Stewart. So, very excited for that one. And I'm sorry I don't have a summary for you guys. I can't, since I can't get to the book, I don't actually know too much about the summary. I think the main character goes to be a governess or a tutor to a young boy, and things go from there. So, anyway, very excited about that one. Okay, so those are the prompts and my recommendations for the prompts for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. I am so excited to be doing this. I know I've probably said that about 10 times in this video, but it's true. Kate, thank you so much for including me as being a host. I just think this is going to be so much fun. And then I will come back with my TBR probably, maybe like a week or two before it starts, maybe like halfway through the month. I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to finalize my TBR, but I'm still doing my November TBR at this point. So once I get that finalized, I will definitely put a video up, and I will make sure that it's well before the start of the actual readathon. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you are participating and which prompts you would like to choose, which ones you find exciting. Let me know if you like any of my recommendations. I hope you do. And thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.